From the time I was a preteen, I was always encouraged to stay away from trashy romance novels. You know, those mass market paperbacks that look always quite a lot like the movie cover of Gone with the Wind. Yeah, those ones. Relies a lot on unnecessary drama, like love triangles. These relationships are rarely healthy, and there isn't much that tends to drive the story on, except for the characters themselves being selfish and not actually being mature enough to be in a relationship. And I kind of took that as stay away from romance in general. It's fine if you're reading a historical fiction and there's romance or literally anything else, but just stay away from a general genre of romance. Now, I kind of have abided by that. I don't care much for any book that's direct focus is two people falling in love. It's just not something I enjoy. I feel that my least favorite tropes abide in these genres, like not like other girls or love triangles or miscommunication. It's really annoying, and I just never enjoyed it. These genres also tend to hold content that I just don't like reading. So this month, it was a surprise when I had these two books, and I want to use these three books as examples for my video today because my opinion on romance has been very transformed through these two books. Now, from what I just said, I mean, you'd probably think I have a very low opinion of the romance genre, and I did, but surprisingly enough, my favorite book of all time is a romance novel, and I loved the romance aspect of it. It made me so happy and so excited, and I was rooting for these two for the entire book. And it's kind of surprising for someone who generally dislikes the romance genre. And I tried to think of why. Why do I like books like Pride and Prejudice and dislike the typical standard erotic romance novel? Well, I figured it out. I really, really understand why people like this genre. And I actually figured out what makes romance novels fly for me, what makes me enjoy them and understand them. And that is basically what makes most other genres not exactly fly, because I believe a lot of other genres can exist without this, but certainly makes romance novels work better. And that is, romance is used as a catalyst to explore deeper topics, more meaningful topics, topics that can resonate deeply within any person. And I just wanted to use these three wonderful books as examples for my video today. So starting with Pride and Prejudice, which is my favorite book of all time. This is not only a romance, but it's also a satire. Something that makes fun of the expectations of the 1810 kind of time period where people were constantly focused on things that didn't ultimately matter that much. And we get to see it through very practical Elizabeth Bennet, who we begin to find out isn't quite as practical as she seems to think she is. Elizabeth has flaws, and it's in the title. Her prejudice inhibits her from understanding other people and to keep from judging them. And it keeps her from her happily ever after. Same with Darcy's Pride. They have to tackle their own inner demons first before they even have a straightforward conversation. That's how this romance works, and I love it. And it made me so excited. It kept me on my toes, because as frustrating as it is to know that your character has gone through the development necessary and is now willing to understand someone who they have absolutely hated before, it's amazing, and it makes a huge payoff. Pride and Prejudice explores topics like judgment and making snap judgments about people and not getting the full story. It explores being deeply loyal to your family And the personal development in this book is via romance, which is incredible. We get to explore deep personal growth through romance. And I think it's super important when you're writing romance to have your characters as the center, not the romance. The romance can be the plot, but it cannot be the center of your story, because the character development is essential to writing a good romance story. And I'm not trying to set rules for anyone writing. I'm not an author and I'm not authoritative on this, but I feel like for romance novels to be deeply meaningful, we need to connect deeply with these characters, and they need to have flaws. I'm going to move on to On the Fence. I just read this last month, and I think it's a really good example of a YA novel that had deep topics explored through romance while also having normal teen enjoyable, like breeze through kind of content. I really enjoyed this book, and the amazing thing about this was the friends to lovers romance was amazing. It was so well done. Both love interests had deep, meaningful connection with each other, and even without anything romantic on the side, they had deep flaws as well. And especially our main character Charlie had deep-seated issues. This book explored grief and trauma and coming of age and escapism. It was really incredible, and I just enjoyed this book so much and how it dealt with teens in a romance, and just it felt very, very down to earth and realistic and gritty, and I really, really think this is a good example of a well-written romance novel. My final example is A Walk to Remember. I really enjoyed this book. I thought it was incredibly written, so almost in a satirical way about the hometown, making fun of the people around our two main characters, especially Jamie's father, who gets deeper. We're seeing this from Landon Carter's point of view, and the way he sees this minister evolves deeply over the course of this novel, and I loved it so much. Like, Nicholas Sparks' writing style is wonderful. It can make you feel things so deeply. And seeing a character like Jamie interact with the world and interact with a romantic relationship was amazing. She's an amazing protagonist, and I loved her. This book explored forgiveness. It was incredible. It explored terminal illness and the effect that has on young people and old people alike. It explored judgment and of people you don't understand, and how learning more about them can truly change your point of view completely. And finally, it explored faith, which is one of my favorite elements of this book, and something that made me feel so emotional is how deeply Jamie's faith affected her, and how it didn't keep her from being unafraid of the things that were happening to her, but it really, really helped her. And I just love seeing Landon be transformed, and I loved this book. I loved how deep it got, and it wasn't because of the romance, it was because of the deeper topics it explored. This isn't meant to be say anything about people who read romance novels that don't tend to have the quality. I get it. I totally understand. This is not meant to shame anyone or anything. I just wanted to kind of point out the things that I think make romance novels really genuinely good and affect people, because previously I hadn't thought that they could, and I was so wrong. I just wanted to kind of explain my personal development on the romance novel kind of genre. A few things that I think are really great in these three all like arc. Each person has a genuine character flaw that is not that they're clumsy or that they worry too much. A genuine character flaw that genuinely hurts their relationship with the other person. Pride and Prejudice is a great example of that. I loved how all three of these were slow burning. It felt so satisfying when the two finally got together, and that it wasn't just this love at first sight, oh no, the world's keeping us apart. I don't mean to throw barbs at West Side Story. I really love that movie. It just, the insta-love. None of these have insta-love, so if you are looking for romance novels, if you have tastes similar to mine, these three are great examples, and I would love for you to read them. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. I just wanted to give my quick thoughts on what I had felt and how I had evolved in my opinions on the romance genre. I would love to hear your thoughts on the romance genre in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more content like this. And I will see you guys next Saturday. Bye!